There's some breaking news. The Israeli army confirming a 4-hour humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. It will begin in just over 10 minutes from now, 8 a.m. Eastern time. That's 3 p.m. Local time. We're going to go right to Elliott Gotkine, who joins us from our Tel Aviv bureau. And Elliott, I'm curious. We all want to know what do you think prompted this latest ceasefire?
Adam, look, they've been trying to get humanitarian ceasefires or any kind of ceasefires for a number of days, but I think this is actually the first one that's been agreed upon by both sides since, I think, Saturday. A couple of caveats. First of all, it's only 4 hours long. Second of all, previous ceasefires have been breached with rockets being fired from Gaza into Israel and Israel retaliating. And finally, if you read the small print, Adam, it says the ceasefire is due to begin in parts of Gaza, so not in all of Gaza.
Elliott, I need to ask you, what happens in a ceasefire? I know that technically there shouldn't be any rocket launches or fighting, but what does each side do during that 4-hour break?
If the ceasefire is actually holding, then you would expect no ground operations or manoeuvres from the part of the Israeli Defense Forces, no airstrikes and no rockets being fired by militants into Israel, or one would assume Israeli forces being engaged by militants there either. Previous ceasefires, Israel has said that it will still be seeking out those tunnels to try to find them and destroy them, but certainly no ground manoeuvres beyond that. And one would imagine that this humanitarian ceasefire would be of a similar kind.
Elliott, we've read that the only power plant in Gaza, fuel tank was hit and effectively shutting down power and water for the entire region. Amnesty International has called it a collective punishment of the Palestinian people, but I wonder if that changes the humanitarian issue dramatically.
Well, a couple of things on that, Corey. First of all, Israel says that it certainly didn't intend to hit that power plant, which I believe the Gaza Electric Corporation says could take up to a year to fix. Israel does provide the electricity to the Gaza Strip, and certainly it won't do anything for the humanitarian situation in Gaza, and one assumes that other forms of power, for example diesel for generators, will just have to go in and be used more so than electricity off the grid. But no, you're right, it won't do much for the humanitarian situation there, which is already pretty desperate.
Elliott, what's the possibility that there's something happening behind the scenes during the ceasefire that might enable 4 hours to become 12 hours or a day or even 2 days?
Adam, look, if you look on previous experience during these past 3 weeks, let's just hope that we get to those 4 hours without the ceasefire being breached before getting ahead of ourselves. We've seen reports that the Egyptians don't want to host a delegation from both sides until there is an actual ceasefire on the ground, and until such time there's no point in travelling to Cairo to talk about a more permanent ceasefire. So let's just hope that this 4 hours sticks rather than hoping beyond any of that. I'm sorry if that's not the most optimistic answer you were hoping for.
Well, understood. We've certainly seen, as you point out, these ceasefires broken before. Elliott Gotkine joining us from Tel Aviv.